awesome class today. We'll see what happens. If Sam shows up, I might have him show some stuff. Hey guys, my name is Emilio Hernandez. I'm out of Spring Hill, Tennessee. I train at Tennessee Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I'm 22 years old. I'm under, my instructor's name is Ray Casillas. I met him probably about 8 years now. I met him when I was 14, been training under him ever since. I started doing jiu-jitsu, like I said, at 14 years old. I started at a local gym in Columbia, which is probably 30 minutes from where I live now currently, and started off there for a year and moved here in Spring Hill probably, a few months after that, and have been training here ever since. I started jiu-jitsu back when I was 14, and at the time I started because I had been playing soccer for years before that, and I wanted to do something different. I had a few different issues when I was younger, I guess more with the anger issues, and I felt like I needed something else to exert my energy, and I felt like jiu-jitsu was one of the biggest things that I needed to try out. Up, down. What I really liked about jiu-jitsu, especially when I first started, of course everyone enters jiu-jitsu and they always feel like they're not progressing or anything like that. What I did really like about it was I like the fact that there's always a learning aspect to it. Like, you're always going to learn something different regardless if you learn the same position over and over again. There's always something different, there's always something new, and that's what I liked about it. So when I get ready to compete, or when I have something coming up, whether it's major, it's not, I always try to focus at and look at them exactly the same. That way, there's no nerves. I always try to tell myself I've been here before. It's just another day. It's just another tournament. When I'm in here at the gym training, I don't necessarily train any harder or try to hurt my teammates. It's more of I'm trying to make sure that my technique's pretty on point. So I'm drilling a lot of different positions, drilling a lot of different scenarios, and I'm making sure that I put myself in bad positions with my training partners. So I'll start in bad positions, that way I can work out of them rather than being undominant and playing my A game. So I'm always trying to work my outside game and working my defense with my partners.
It's fine if he rolls. I'm going to cut this.
I like to, of course, start from standing and work into the takedown. I do like to, work from the standing position and then, getting the dominant position on top. But I would like to say a lot of my style does have to do with a lot of moving pretty quickly, but also just scrambling out of different positions. My nickname is Scramble King. I got that from the way I compete. I'm very big about scrambling out of positions and being very mobile when I'm rolling, and a few guys came up with the nickname. It's pretty much stuck ever since. My overall goal in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is to become a black belt world champion, especially under the International Brazilian Federation. It's been one of the ultimate goals I've had since I started training, especially once I got to blue belt. One of my teammates here, he was a purple belt world champion, and honestly, I thought that was the coolest thing ever, to become a world champion in something that's not really considered to be an American sport. And honestly, I train, almost 7 times a day. Now I do try to rest every now and then, but however, I am making sure I put in multiple hours, and I feel like between purple and brown is whenever I started making my stride, and that's when I wanted to make this goal come true rather than keeping it a dream. To become a world champion, from what I've seen, or I've seen multiple, some of my coaches become world champions, or multiple Pan Am champions, but it's the actual work ethic one. But honestly, it's the time that you put in. The more time that you put in on the mats and the more time you actually put into your drilling, that's what's gonna take. We see all these other athletes in the world who are putting multiple hours or putting multiple days in. They're getting the different 3 different training sessions within one day. They're putting in that effort, or they're putting in the extra work ethic that most people don't want to, or think it's too hard. So honestly, to become a world champion, from what I've seen, is you got to make sure that every time you come in, everything that you're doing is with a purpose, and not just moving within the motions. What I would like, for me, I guess, whenever I compete or do jiu-jitsu, or when I travel to these things, I guess whenever I do get introduced to new people, or I do get to meet, different people in the world, I guess what I really want them to realize is, that there's more to jiu-jitsu than just kind of like the competition aspect or just a training aspect. There, the friendships and the bonds that you make with different people throughout the world. So I would like to say that I'm a very humble, kind person, and but I like to be outgoing. So I do like to meet all these new people whenever I travel and compete. But I would also like for people to know that there is more than jiu-jitsu within these bigger cities. These smaller cities like Tennessee, or smaller states like Tennessee and Atlanta. There's a lot of great athletes, and I want to prove to the world that there's more to jiu-jitsu than just than what we see right now.
Yes.
When it comes down to teaching and just training, there is a big difference. I didn't start realizing that till probably about blue belt, beginning purple belt, when I started teaching all the kids classes, and then I would teach some of the adult classes on occasion depending on if an instructor couldn't make it. But what I did realize was when it comes down to teaching, you have to be very precise with the movements. You have to be very on point with the positioning.
For me to finish this
But honestly, it helped me really with my jiu-jitsu because it sharpened up my techniques. I had to focus on things that I do and that I had to show others and what to do. So I was having to make sure that I made certain points or made key points and made sure that they focus on these things where it's things that upper belts do but they don't realize that we're doing. So we're having to break it down in more detail, whereas in training I come in and I just grab a partner and start getting after it. We just kind of we'll roll hard, but we're still working on technique, but we're not really thinking about it. We're kind of trying to flow through and go with the movements. I do enjoy teaching. I've been doing it for probably about 6+ years now. It has been one of the best things that I could have done or started doing was teaching. At first I got very nervous, and I've got a lot of great compliments of how I teach, and even to this day I still get nervous when I teach certain things. I've done 3 seminars overall, and each time it's a very great experience. But what I do love about teaching is seeing your students or seeing the students and your teammates progress and actually being able to use the techniques that you've shared, or it has changed their game in some type of way. So it's always great to see the progression of your teammates when you're teaching. If I was going to give any advice, or if I was going to give my own input about why people should train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, honestly, personally for me, it did help, of course, with the anger issues I had as a kid, and I dealt with a few different depression stuff, and honestly, it helped me kind of get in a better state of mind. But it also created this outside family that I can always count on, or that were always there to cheer you up, and you made these bonds and friendships that they're always going to be there to support you regardless of what's going on in the world. And honestly, one of the biggest things that I did find was we leave our problems at the door whenever you come into the gym. All right, the gym is somewhere to be safe and somewhere to kind of get away from everything else. I would say that jiu-jitsu can save you in different ways depending on what you're really looking to get out of it. For me, I was looking for an atmosphere that was very comforting and supportive, and it helped my mindset and get away from everything. And for others, it might help you, you build the confidence in just overall yourself, because this is going to test your limits in jiu-jitsu and probably help you out with your life decisions in the world outside of here. But I would say that it is very helpful, and it's one of those things that give it a try, kind of see how you feel about it, and I hope that it becomes one of those things that helps you like it did me.